When President Biden made clear he was going to run for re-election, I had a sense of what his election strategy was and thought it was an intelligent path to victory. I have to admit, none of this is playing out as I thought it would. Trump is now leading in almost all the swing states. As someone worried about the prospects of a second Trump term, I think it's best to be honest about reality. I understand that polls are not always accurate, but in general, they have tended to underestimate Donald Trump's support, not overestimate it. Meanwhile, Republicans seem to be uniting behind Trump. Whatever opposition he faced in the primaries has largely melted away. And the trials against him keep him in the spotlight, infuriate his base, who sees him as a martyr, and even may serve to make him the object of some sympathy among people in general who believe that his prosecutors are politically motivated. This happens to be true, in my opinion. I doubt the New York indictment would have been brought against a defendant whose name was not Donald Trump. On the question of who voters trust more to deal with the economy, Trump has a 22-point lead over Biden, according to an NBC poll from January. This marks a 15-point bump for Trump compared to the same poll in 2020. Immigration, Biden is 35 points behind Trump as to who would handle it better. The one that troubles me the most is on the question of who was the more competent. Joe Biden led Donald Trump by 9 points in 2020, but Trump now leads by 16 points in January 2024. That 25-point shift could be a reflection of people's sense that the president's age is affecting his capacity to govern. And there's very little that Joe Biden can do now to change that perception.
Big shout out to the Dilly meme team for that video clip right there. But as you guys just got a little taste of it, we got to talk about some things today. Because it's not looking good for Democrats. Well, you have CNN's Fareed Zakaria, I believe that's how you say his name, coming out and admitting, Trump's more than likely going to win. Like, Biden's going down the toilet. Like, it's just a slow spin right now. We just watch him go down the drain. You got some issues. You got some major issues. And then when CNN comes out and drops some things like what I'm about to show you guys, yeah, it's real ugly. Like, share, comment, and hit that subscribe button if you are new. And let's dive in.
Look, these Sunbelt battleground states, frankly, for the Joe Biden campaign, these numbers are an absolute disaster. The smallest lead is in Arizona for Donald Trump. He's up 6. Look at this, 9 in Georgia, 13 in Nevada. My goodness gracious, my God. That is a huge lead. No Democrat has lost that state since John Kerry lost it back in 2004. How about these Great Lake battleground states? This is something that the Joe Biden campaign can work with. Look, Pennsylvania, Donald Trump up 3, but that's well within the margin of error. Wisconsin, Donald Trump up 1, well within the margin of error. And actually, a Joe Biden lead, well within the margin of error, up a point here. This they can work with the Joe Biden campaign. This, the Donald Trump campaign, absolutely loves, and it looks like a lot of the other polling on the Sunbelt battlegrounds.
When you're looking into the numbers, why do you think Biden is doing better in the Great Lakes and Trump is doing so much better in the Sunbelt?
Yeah, the Trump coalition is changing. That's basically what's cooking here. This is at least one of the big reasons why. So this is among likely voters in all these battleground states we just spoke about. Back in 2020, 84% of the Trump campaigns, the Trump coalition was white. Look where it is now. It's 78%. The non-white portion of the Trump coalition, it was 13% in 2020. Look at this now. It's 19%. So the Trump coalition is becoming more diverse. And, of course, those Sunbelt battleground states are more diverse than the Great Lake battleground states.
You're looking at the Nevadas and the Arizonas here.
Of course. If you look at Nevada, Arizona, heavy Hispanic population, Georgia, heavily African-American population. With the Michigan does have some black voters in it, but Pennsylvania and Wisconsin are heavily, heavily white.
It's very interesting.
Hey, yo, to any white folks that may be watching, what's going on? Hold on, let me pull that back up. So just as, some of us black folks decide to buy a toilet and a ruler and get our shit straight, some of y'all jumping ship. What's going? Well, what's going on? Nah, but I do think that is very interesting because, you know, Democrats and I'm still laughing about that. Democrats and Joe Biden love to try to paint Republicans and Trump as, you know, racist and it's just a bunch of white people and they hate everybody else and all of this nonsense, right? But the truth is, it's not all white people. It's a very diverse group. Just because Republicans or Trump don't necessarily point out one group of individuals like, you know, Democrats do. Democrats are always dangling a black person in front of black people. Look, guys, we got a black person for you. Somebody that looks like you, which is always weird and awkward. Like if you really are for people, you shouldn't have to do that, right? We would just see it through your actions. You don't have to just dangle black people in front of our face. Look, guys, we got this number of black people. Like they're always bragging about how many black people or how many women they've hired. Like, why does that matter? Why does that matter? That doesn't matter at all. It's always weird, but you know, I just thought that was a interesting stat right there. More diverse. Let's get it.
Are heavily white.
It's very interesting. Okay, add it all up. What does this say about where the race stands right now? We're talking electoral college and the race to 270.
Yeah, the race to 270. It's advantage Donald Trump, but he's not over the 270 mark just yet. All right. So if we flip Nevada, Arizona, and Georgia here in your lighter shades of pink, you add them to the states, and of course the 2nd congressional district up in Maine, which Donald Trump won last time around, that gets him to 268 electoral votes. If we keep Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania in the too close to call category, along with Nebraska's 2nd congressional district, Joe Biden at 225. So it's advantage Donald Trump, but Joe Biden does at this point have a path to 270.
Yeah, and right now, as you're pointing out, neither.
Yeah.
Neither there.
Neither.
And then you throw Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, and you give Joe Biden Michigan, and it's a wrap. It's over. It's over. And I do believe Trump will win Pennsylvania. That's just my humble opinion on it. But, you know, that's not the only poll that has come out recently that showed great things for Trump and horrible things for Biden. There's more.
And Biden seems to be struggling with key demographic groups that he would need to win and win big if he stands a chance of being reelected.
John, there is significant softness in the support for Joe Biden among core Democrats. In this poll, he's carrying black voters by 61 points. Well, that sounds like a lot, but he carried them by 84 points back in 2020. Latino voters, a very slight Biden edge in this poll, but it was a 21-point advantage in the exit polls back in 2020. And among younger voters, under 30, we're actually seeing Trump with a slight edge. That was a big win for Biden last time around.
So you have a 23-point swing, a 17-point swing, and a 29-point swing. 23, 17, 29. All swinging in the direction of Trump. It's over. In my humble opinion. It's over.
It's particularly stark to see that difference among voters of color. Black voters under age 50, far less likely in this poll to say they're supporting Joe Biden than older black voters.
And Biden...
And I can vouch for that. Yep. I sure can vouch for that. Oh my goodness. But like I said, those aren't the only polls. Check out this little short clip here. It's not very long. It's very short.
A poll this week shows Americans trust Mr. Trump over the president on the economy and inflation by double digits, while 2/3 of Americans say they're living paycheck to paycheck.
Trust Trump. With the whole Gaza situation. Biden's underwater on that one too. Way underwater.
Let's look at the choice for president in 2024 among Biden's 2020 voters, all right? Because I think this sort of illustrates sort of how Biden's getting pushed a little bit. So if you like Biden on the Israel-Gaza war, look at that. He's getting 87% of the vote. RFK Jr. is getting 8. Donald Trump way down here at 4. But if you dislike Biden, if you disapprove of the job he's doing on the Israel-Gaza war, look at this. He's getting just 50% of that vote. My goodness gracious. These are people who voted for him last time. RFK Jr. is getting 20%. This is just a 30-point margin compared to a 79-point.
Notice what's going on here. These are Biden voters that were polled here. These aren't Trump supporters, okay? These aren't independents. These are folks who voted for Biden. Recognize what you're looking at here. Even if you like how Biden is handling Gaza in the whole Israel situation, 4% of those folks are saying, no, I'm still voting for Trump. Another 8% is saying, no, I'm still voting for Kennedy. That is a major problem when your own voters are still choosing to support someone else. And then, of course, over here, when he's not, like, 20% say they're voting for Kennedy and 10 say they're voting for Trump. Once again, these are Biden voters. These aren't Trump supporters. These aren't independents, right? This wasn't just like a random mix of folks. These were Biden voters specifically that are saying, nah, I'm supporting Trump. Now that's hilarious.
Point margin among those who approve of Biden on the Israel-Gaza war. This is a huge dividing line within the Democratic Party, and that's something, of course, we're seeing right now between the progressive wing and those more centrist or mainstream Democrats.
And as a confession, we're such nerds that occasionally Harry sends me some of this data, and the number that jumped out here, RFK at 20% among people, Democrats who voted for Biden in 2020 and dislike him on the Biden war. I think your next slide points to a little bit of what's going on here.
What exactly is cooking? Why do they dislike Biden on Israel? Okay, America's support for Israel is, now this is among 2020 Biden voters who are currently not voting for him, so it's those dislike, those disapprovals. Take a look here. Do you believe that America's support for Israel is too much? The clear majority, 60% of those folks who are currently not voting for Biden, but did last time around, say that America's support for Israel is too much. Just 24% say about right. You get this 4% who say not enough. But this group is double the size of the about right and not enough combined. And a lot of those folks at this particular point aren't necessarily going for Donald Trump. They're going for RFK.
I got to say that not enough is virtually nothing here. In general, what is Biden support among those who were with him before?
Yeah. This, I think, is the key point. Biden versus Trump 2024 poll margin. The reason Trump's ahead, he's holding on to more of his base right now. That 2020 voters leading by 81 points. Biden's just holding on, winning among that group by 73 points. That's the story of this election. It's why Trump is in much better position than he was 4 years ago.
I want to know who are these supposed folks that, voted for Trump the first go around, but aren't now. I haven't met any of those folks, but that's interesting. And as I always say with these types of videos, there's more.
Brand new polls, not normally friendly to the Trump team, have him leading the Biden team in 5 of 6 battleground states. I look at this, the Arizona and Georgia, and I'm stunned. 1 by 7, 1 by 11.
Yeah, they've got him at 50% in Nevada. Pollsters look at that 5-0 number. Also look at the other two around it. Arizona at 49, Michigan at 49.
They feel as though they can make some history by flipping some traditionally blue states, one of which the former president was in over the weekend, in Wildwood, New Jersey. He attracted between 80 and 100,000 people. The crowd shots are just enormous. His chance of flipping New Jersey. Yeah. Last time somebody did that, it was George H.W. Bush in 1988. He wasn't close in his last 2 elections. Right, Another state that Governor Glenn Youngkin feels as though he told Republicans, you can win it again. George W. Bush won last time in 2004.
Remember, Barack Obama flipped that state in 2008. That was the story of the night. That's how you knew Obama.
And then all of a sudden, we just consider it no longer a battleground. We consider it a blue state. The former president of the United States said, I only wish in 2016 I went to Minnesota one more time. Why? The last time a Republican won was 1972. His name was Richard Nixon. But look at what happened the last 2 times.
Democrats would say, we can play in Florida, all right? Well, DeSantis is saying, we're going to lead on the voter rolls by 1 million Republicans over Democrats. Well, likewise, Republicans are saying, we can play in all these blue states. They're trying to expand the map and go on offense.
And big shout out to Scott Pressler once again. This guy is traveling around the country, getting people registered in all different types of places and flipping the balance of registered voters from Democrat heavy to a little more even Republican Democrat types of situations. So big shout out to Scott Pressler doing some fantastic work out here. And Yeah, sure. These are just polls. I understand that for the folks in the back that are going to say, Rich, these are just polls. They're just polls. Well, stick around. Maybe tomorrow. Sometime soon. I'll drop a video of some evidence as to why these polls are accurate. Y'all know I always come with clips. Just not in this video. We're already going a little long here on this one. So, in another video. But as always, y'all let me know your thoughts, your opinions on all of this in the comment section below. Like, share, comment. Hit that subscribe button before you go. Peace and love. I'm out.